This is Corporal Tim Thornton, host of the Military Exchange Military Talk Show. Our sponsor is Iron Mike's Military Exchange in Canandaigua, New York. The Military Exchange is now both radio and video. Military is our life. We live it, breathe it. The Military Talk Show brings you current events and topics of veteran interest, war stories and interviews with guest and veteran groups. Do you remember that camaraderie we all experienced while serving our country? We laugh, mourn our loss, marvel at the heroism, and ponder life's meaning here at the Military Exchange Talk Show. Join the Combat Radio Network. Present your group or non-for-profit cause to fellow Americans. Set up an appointment to join us at the studio and be part of the show. A weekly broadcast and live performance by the casting crew of the Military Exchange. You can view our weekly episodes on the front page of my website, IronMikesMX.com, or visit themilitaryexchange.com. The Military Exchange Military Talk Show. Welcome to the Military Exchange Talk Show, and I'm your host, Corporal Tim Thornton. I'd like to tell you a little bit about our show today. Our show today comes out with Diane Potter telling us a great read on the history of our country, and as it applies to the politics and the current events today, it's a great read. Sit back, drink your espresso, your little cappuccino in the morning, and I'm sure you're going to enjoy it. A great way to wake up with Diane. War Stories Captain Updaw is going to tell us the comparison between Major Ware, the two-star general of the highest rank to die during the Vietnam War, and his connection with Audie Murphy. And then the VA comes back again, as they did last week, with the Mobile Telehealth Unit, MTU, with Angela Allen. And she's going to tell you all about this new mobile unit that can come out and see you where you are, where you live, to give you VA services. But hey, what's the VA doing for you lately? How about the MTU unit? Rocco's Cigar segment, and we dedicate a new line of cigars to MARSOC, Marine Amphibious Reconnaissance Special Operations Command. Yut, yut! I just had to do that. Sorry for all your little eardrums. And then we're going to come back into the chapel, talk to you a little bit about current events and how they apply with God to us in our lives. So I hope you enjoy the show, and we will see you on the other side. Welcome to the Military Exchange Talk Show. I'm your host, Corporal Tim Thornton, and tonight we are with Miss Diane Potter of Destiny, Desire, and Duty, and Time Travel.
Corporal Tim.
Yes, ma'am.
You got a seatbelt on?
I do.
Okay, we're going for a ride. Strangers though we be, tonight we meet as patriots, you and me, and liberty makes three. Now, tonight I thought that I would continue with my interest in history and allow the audience, myself as well, all of us, we should reflect on what our ancestors had to go through, what people before us had to endure. I'm sure that we just turn on the water and go about our business and don't give much thought to things until perhaps the lights go out and we lose power. Then all of a sudden everyone is in a tizzy because they just don't know what to do with themselves or, quite frankly, how to survive. Well, if you think that was bad, let's just take an interesting spin back in time. Let's say about the 1500s. Most people got married in June because they took their yearly bath in May and still smelled pretty good by June. However, they were starting to smell, so brides carried a bouquet of flowers to hide the body odor. Hence the custom today of carrying a bouquet when getting married. Baths consisted of a big tub filled with hot water. The man of the house, had the privilege of the nice clean water. Then all the other sons and men, then the women, and finally the children. Last of all, the chubby little babies. By then the water was so dirty you could actually lose someone in it. Hence the saying, don't throw the baby out with the bath water. Ugh! Houses had thatched roofs, thick straw piled high. A romantic image, is it not? Think again. There was no wood underneath. It was the only place for animals to get warm, so all the cats and other animals, I'll leave it to your imagination, lived in the roof. When it rained, it became slippery, and sometimes the animals would slip off the roof. Hence the saying, it's raining cats and dogs. There was nothing to stop things from falling into the house. This posed a real problem in the bedroom, where you can imagine what would fall into the bed or anywhere else in your house. Hence, a bed with big posts and a sheet hung over the top afforded some protection. That's how canopy beds came into existence. The floor was dirt. Only the wealthy had something other than dirt, hence the saying, dirt poor. The wealthy had slate floors that would get slippery in the winter when wet, so they spread thresh, straw, on the floor to keep their footing. As the winter wore on, they added more thresh, until when you opened the door, it would all start slipping outside. A piece of wood was placed in the entranceway. Hence the saying, a threshold. Interesting. Those with money had plates of pewter. Food with high acid content caused some of the lead to leach onto the food, causing lead poisoning death. This happened most often with tomatoes. So for the next 400 years or so, tomatoes were considered poisonous. Now, along those lines, earlier than that, as we know, the ancients, the Romans, had lead pipes. And so they went quite mad, I tell you, mad. And if you think about it, such similar contaminations throughout civilization, is it any wonder that, well, I was watching a movie the other night, not to, get off the rails here, but it was so horrifying that, well, it was, apocalypto, this savagery and the behaviors because of poisonings, or the fact that they were doing things like hallucinogenic plants, etc., gives a lot of weight as far as really having to delve into understanding humankind, civilizations, the surrounding environments, what people were doing, what they were consuming. Anyway, I don't mean to, get off the beaten path here. Well, actually, speaking of being on the path and then off the path, on the path and off the path, do you know what that's called?
No, ma'am.
That is called passive-aggressive. Okay, so bread was divided according to status. Workers got the burnt bottom of the loaf, the family got the middle, and guests got the top, known as the upper crust. Lead cups were used to drink ale or whiskey. The combination would sometimes knock the imbibers out for a couple of days. When walking along the road, someone would take them for dead and prepare them for burial. They were laid out on the kitchen table for a couple of days, and the family would gather around and eat and drink and wait to see if they would wake up. Hence the custom of holding a wake. One more, and this is scary. England is old and small, and the local folk started running out of places to bury people. So they would dig up the coffins and take the bones to a bone house and reuse the grave. When reopening these coffins, 1 out of 25 coffins were found to have scratch marks on the inside, and they realized they had been burying people alive. So they would tie a string on the wrist of the corpse, leading it through the coffin and up through the ground, and tie it to a bell. Someone would have to sit out in the graveyard all night, the graveyard shift, to listen for the bell. Thus, someone could be saved by the bell or was considered a dead ringer. Now, whoever said history is not fun and fascinating and a little spooky? So I dare say, we should all be grateful for the world we live in today and don't abuse it and cause us to go back into the Stone Age. If you get my drift as far as the horrors being implemented throughout the Middle East, this is not the Stone Age, my dear.
And we don't want to go back to the 1500s. Maybe Civil War. I could put up with that.
I don't know, lovey. We'll have to look into that.
Thank you, folks, for that very humorous and well-informed read by Miss Diane Potter. And
Chip, chip, and all that.
thank you. Introducing now in the corner of Case's Mini Storage Plaza, wearing camouflage boxers and smoking a cigar, hailing from Canandaigua, New York, Corporal Tim Thorntons, the all-new The Military Exchange. The Military Exchange is proud to present over 5,000 feet of pure 100% military. The Military Exchange is your source for all your military needs and proudly supports active reserve and former military, VFWs, Legions and Leagues, Boy Scouts, Sea Cadets, Civil Air Patrol, and your family. Presenting cigars fresh from our plantation of the Dominica, collectibles, t-shirts, hoodies, and ball caps, rank and insignia uniforms for parade security and law enforcement, camouflage clothing, outerwear, wool pants, parkas, and field jackets, camping backpack tents and sleep systems, vintage clothing and gear, Class A's past and present, tactical and survival gear, antiques and airsoft, brand new and pre-enjoyed military camouflage and boots. Check out our military talk show at IronMikesMX.com. 5,000 feet to pure 100% military in Canandaigua, New York. Old Glory, Stars and Stripes, red, white, and blue, the A flag, the American flag, the flag that is flown above every rooftop to guide on, battleships, camps, forts, and FOBs. The American flag bears the crimson color of blood that has kept our flag as pure as the white bars that flank the blue field of honor. The Military Exchange is proud to present Valley Forge American-made flags, 100% American-made, real issue. We sell flags by the military branch, unit, or division. Army, Air Force, Navy, Coast Guard, National Guard, Marine Corps. We sell flag poles, mounts, and display cases. Show your pride. Display your branch proudly with a flag from Valley Forge. The Gadsden, Don't Tread on Me flag and decals. Perfect for the conservative New Yorker. Join the military culture that is the Military Exchange. Located in Canandaigua, New York. Check out our weekly video broadcast of our radio show at IronMikesMX.com.
Hi, my name is Zach Roberts, and I'm a student at RIT, and I joined the Army to become a military policeman. As an MP, I help protect the lives and property on Army installations by enforcing military laws and regulations. We also control traffic, prevent crimes, and respond to all emergencies. Some of my job duties include law enforcement patrols, interview witnesses, victims, and suspects. For more information on my career and over 150 other skills, call the Henrietta Army Recruiting Center at 585-427-8600. Paid for by the U.S. Army, Army Strong.
I got my hot sauce in this old frying pan. I'm the one
Military
who's
Exchange,
doing
and I'm
all
your
the
host,
cooking
Corporal Tim
around
Thornton, and I'm
here.
here tonight with Captain Dick Updahl. And this is War Stories.
Okay, thank you, Corporal Thornton. My story tonight is going to tie into my last segment when I talked about Major General Harold Green, who was killed in Afghanistan 2 years ago. And during that talk, I mentioned that one of the things he had in common with a similar Army two-star general was that Major General Keith Ware, United States Army, was killed in Vietnam, and he was the last highest-ranking Army general to be killed in combat until Major Green was killed earlier this month. So I wanted to talk a little more about Major General Keith Ware and also his connection to Audie Murphy. Now, I don't have to tell the listening audience, and I would assume even if we've got a fairly young segment of the listening audience, people are very familiar with Audie Murphy. he was the most decorated serviceman to come out of World War II. He was U.S. Army. He went in as a buck private, and he got a battlefield commission, came out as a second lieutenant, and eventually ended up being promoted to captain. And I would say, if anybody is not aware of Audie Murphy's exploits, just punch in his name on the internet, and you will get all sorts of reams and reams of information. He was famous after he got out of the service. He became a movie actor and a songwriter, and his connection to Major General Keith Ware I'm going to explain right now, but Audie Murphy unfortunately also suffered the same fate as Major General Keith Ware, who was a good friend of his. Audie Murphy died in a plane crash in May of 1971, whereas getting back to Major General Keith Ware, he was killed in Vietnam in a helicopter crash in September of 1968. So I just wanted to start with Keith Ware to say that he was a Medal of Honor winner in World War II. And he was fighting in the same outfit as Audie Murphy. And prior to his winning the Medal of Honor, in October of 1944, Lieutenant Ware was on a patrol with his unit, and they came under an ambush by German machine gun crews. There were 3 or 4 machine gun crews, had the unit ambushed, and Audie Murphy just happened to be coming along. He was scouting on his own, and he saw that Lieutenant Colonel Ware's unit had been ambushed, so Audie just on his own attacked all 4 machine gun positions, and with 2 hand grenades and his carbine wiped out 8 or 10 German soldiers with the machine guns. And for that action, he actually saved Keith Ware's life. For that action, he was awarded his first Silver Star of the European campaign. So then, after that, Keith Ware was very aware of the fact that Audie Murphy saved his life, and in December of 1944, while he was out scouting machine gun and German artillery positions, he discovered 4 German machine gun nests with mortar crews that were setting up to make another ambush. So Colonel Ware just attacked them and wiped out all 4 German machine guns and the mortar crews by himself, and also called in his own artillery support to take care of the other Germans around there. So for that action, Lieutenant Colonel Keith Ware was awarded the Medal of Honor. And he went on to become, he went through World War II service, and then in Vietnam service he went on to become Commanding General of the 1st Infantry Division. And while he was Commanding General, he was the 4th American general killed in Vietnam when on September 13th, 1968, his helicopter was shot down and crashed in the jungles of Vietnam, and General Ware and all the crew members on board the helicopter were lost. So the tie-in of General Ware to Audie Murphy was the fact that ever since Murphy's rescue of General Ware, they became great friends. And even after World War II service, they were always together. And Audie, as I said, went on to become a movie actor and a songwriter. And General Ware was one of his great companions and was a great supporter of him as an actor. And at one time when they were interviewing him in 1964, they asked about his association with Audie Murphy, and General Ware said that Audie Murphy was without a doubt the finest soldier I have ever known in my entire military career. And for him to say that from a Medal of Honor winner to about another Medal of Honor winner, that was quite an honor. So unfortunately, the final thing that they had in common, in addition to both being Medal of Honor winners, they were both killed in air crashes and were lost prematurely. Some great individuals that we could ill afford to lose, but unfortunately we did lose them. And I just wanted to mention one more thing about Audie Murphy. And again, I said it to the listeners, if you want to get on the internet, just punch in his name and you'll find all the specifics about his life. But he was, as I said, the most decorated soldier in the history of World War II. And I just want to read you the list of medals. He was awarded 24 other awards other than the ones that I'm going to list. I'm just going to list the major ones from the American military. And it starts out, he was recipient of the Medal of Honor, the Distinguished Service Cross, 2 Silver Stars, the Legion of Merit, 2 Bronze Stars, 3 Purple Hearts, and then 24 other awards, including the French Croix de Guerre, the French Legion of Merit, European Service Awards, and it just goes on. And he was a great individual. He actually starred in his own movie To Hell and Back. That was his autobiographical movie, and he was the star in that. So if you've got any inkling to look up either Major General Keith L. Ware or Audie Murphy, U.S. Army, just punch them in the internet and you'll get some very interesting, exciting, entertaining stories about both individuals.
Now, Captain Upton, I don't know if this is scuttlebutt or not, but I've always been told this, that Audie Murphy was actually turned down at the Marine Corps recruiting office.
That is correct.
That is correct?
Yep. He was turned down by both the Navy and the Marine Corps recruiters because Audie Murphy was not a big man. He was only 5'5", and at that time, when he tried to get into the Marine Corps, he was underweight. He only weighed 120 pounds or something. And so he went out and apparently went to see the Army, but I understand that he drank a lot of water and ate a lot of bananas before he went in to try to enlist in the Army, and he was finally taken. But he was a Texan, originally from Texas, but he wasn't a very big individual. But boy, he had a big heart, and if you look him up on the internet or see a picture of him with all his medals in his dress uniform, you wonder, my God, how's he standing up with all that iron arrayed all around that uniform? So.
That's awesome. And he was a nice guy. People liked him, and he did great movies. He was a hell of a hero.
Yep.
And so obviously was General Ware.
Yep, and it's hard to lose him that way, but unfortunately, you never know what life has in store for you.
Well, there may be a quote, who wants to see our heroes grow old?
There you go. That's true.
Okay, thank you.
This portion of Iron Mike's Morning Roll Call is brought to you by BF Golfing. How's your game going? Are you getting the most out of your game? Bob Freeland offers personal coaching in a relaxed way that gets the most out of your swing. Bob can help anyone improve their game and make it more enjoyable. You can find Bob at BF Golfing, 3868 North Main Street, Marion, New York, or call 315-926-5802. If he can straighten out Iron Mike, he can straighten out you too.
Iron Mike's Military Exchange. Iron Mike's is located in Canandaigua, New York. The Military Exchange is locked and loaded with military gear and merchandise currently being used by our armed forces. The Military Exchange is an excellent source for all your hunting, camping, and outdoor needs. Iron Mike's is proud to stock items for our active and reserve military personnel, Boy Scouts, Civil Air Patrol, Sea Cadets, Airsoft, campers, backpackers, and survivalists. Iron Mike's Military Exchange in Canandaigua, New York. Check them out online at ironmikes.co.
CentDev Computer Repair is there for all your computer needs for both your home and your office. They can fix any laptop or desktop that's on the fritz, and they sell refurbished computers as well. Call CentDev at 272-9701. You'll be glad you did. CentDev for all your computer needs.
Hi, my name is Hunter DeLizer, and I'm a senior at Marion High School, and I joined the Army to become an infantryman. The infantry is the mainland combat force and the backbone of the Army. It's also the starting point for many advanced schools such as Special Forces, Airborne School, and Ranger School. Some of my job duties include defending our country against any threat by land and repelling enemy ground forces during combat. For more information on my career or over 150 other skills, call the Henrietta Army Recruiting Station at 585-427-8600. paid for by the U.S. Army. Army Strong. Hooah.
When you hear the phrase, boots on the ground, that phrase means our men and women that are in the American Armed Forces. And that means they're ready to fight. They wear the very best gear America has to offer. I'm talking the very best in leather, Gore-Tex, Thinsulate, 3-layer Vibram soles, Nomex, side zippers, and stitching. Quality that the civilian market can't even come close to offering. When you say quality, you want U.S. government issue. Iron Mike's is the leading distributor for military government contractors. They offer jump boots, Mickey boots, jungle boots, SWAT boots, sniper boots, steel toe, Navy deck boots, and Marine Corps and Army desert boots. Corafram low quarter shoes, mucklucks, extreme cold weather, and lightweight tactical boots in 6, 8, and 10 inches. Iron Mike's takes trade-ins of all your old military boots. Iron Mike's is located at 2485 State Route 332 in Canandaigua. Check us out online at ironmikes.co.
Welcome back to the Military Exchange, and I'm your host, Corporal Tim Thornton, and I am here tonight with Angela Allen from Rural Health Social Worker, that's what she is, a coordinator of services for the RV Mobile Telehealth Unit, MTU. And I coined that phrase. So, Angela, if you could tell us a little about yourself, your job, and what the MTU, the Mobile Telehealth Unit, can do for our veterans.
Yeah, sure. Well, like you said, my name is Angela Allen. I'm a rural health social worker at the Canandaigua VA, and I've been on this Mobile Telehealth Unit project for about 3 months. And what we're looking to do, what we will be doing, is going out into the rural communities. We're going to have 5 sites set up. We have locations in Brockport, Wolcott, Naples, and Mount Morris, and we're working on our Seneca County site. So each day of the week we'll be at one of those sites providing via telehealth, which is like over the Skype, over the computer, primary care follow-up, PT, audiology, and vision assessment. We'll also be able to draw blood, to do labs, and do urine collection and bring those samples back to Canandaigua for processing. And then we'll also be able to provide telemental health to veterans. So if they have difficulty getting to Canandaigua or Rochester, they can come to the RV, set up the appointment ahead of time, and more or less Skype their psychiatrist, psychologist, therapist, social worker, and whoever they're seeing for their behavioral health treatment.
You're also doing the same telehelp with with a doctor.
Yeah.
So if they're in there being seen, the doctor will be able to see them.
That's right.
Right.
That's right.
I've done this myself at the VA where I've been on camera talking to the specialist in Syracuse. And also, actually I did it twice. They talk to us. Mm-hmm. He sees me or she saw me. They can focus the camera in close. Mm-hmm. They can see what the issue is. And of course it's all private. Yeah. And so basically you're going to do the same thing.
That's exactly what we'll be doing from the RV. So the veteran, if it's more convenient for them to come to the RV in one of those 5 communities, if that's closer to home for them, if they have difficulty getting to Canandaigua or Rochester, of those specialists that we're working with, that's exactly it. They would come to the RV and then they would talk to the doctor over the computer. So we'll have cameras and all the different components on the medical carts set up so the doctor will be able to see and hear and interact with the patient through the computer.
So now, is this a one-time thing? They can go to the van or the unit and see the doctor, or would there be some kind of follow-up in that area?
Yeah, and we would assess for that. When the veteran calls the VA to make an appointment, once our unit is up and running, they'll be offered the option of coming to the RV or coming to Canandaigua or Rochester if the service that they need falls into the category of the services we're providing. And then during that appointment on the RV, the tech and the doctor will be assessing what follow-up is necessary. So if the next appointment can again be done from the RV, then we will schedule that with the provider and the veteran before the veteran leaves the RV that day, so they'll know what the follow-up plan is.
Now we are, for you folks at home, if you watch the video that's on our YouTube channel, the Military Exchange Talk Show, you'll be able to see the video of the Mobile Telehealth Unit, the inside and the outside of it, and it's beautiful. It's very big. It looks very very friendly.
Yeah.
It doesn't have this like a hospital feel. It has a very homey feel.
It's comfortable.
Comfortable.
It's a comfortable space.
Yep.
Yeah.
Anything more you want to talk about with the? We talked about the coordinating of the services for the RV, but you named the towns. A little bit more you could tell us about the mobile health unit?
Yeah, another part of my role as a social worker for the RV, if veterans come to the RV and they're not enrolled in VA healthcare, or if they just have questions about services or eligibility for different things, I'll be able to provide them with information, resources, referrals, and also help facilitate enrollment if that's something that they're interested in doing. So, yeah.
That's great, because that is the step, is actually getting enrolled.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people, I know I waited a long time to do it. And once you finally get in, you're in.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's hard to get away from you guys. You're kind of always calling me up saying, hey, let's buy your next appointment. What are you going to do next? I never have any issues with feeling left out, because they do keep up after you in a good way. And I I just started doing something with the dental, and I noticed that the dentist, by the way, is awesome over at Westfall. And you go in, you see him, and make an appointment 3 weeks later, and a day or two before, they call you up and they say, hey, don't forget. I don't know. You don't always get that in civilian care.
Right. And with the rural unit, part of our goal is for veterans who have access issues. If they don't have a car, if they can't drive, if getting to Canandaigua or Rochester is just difficult for a variety of reasons, the unit we're coming to them. We want to come out into the community and be able to provide services to the folks that do have a difficult time getting, to be seen. We want to provide good care, consistent care, and coordinate with the providers. So we're very excited to be able to offer this.
I agree. I think that's great that you're actually going out to the people. I would like to say, if you're a veteran and you've experienced like what I have, where the civilian doctors don't understand your issues or health-related problems because you are a veteran, or you've actually experienced some civilian prejudice because you're a veteran, this is why you go to the VA, to the VA hospital, because they're there from your perspective. They're on your side, and they've been trained to help you as a veteran and also be your advocate. So, and I find that completely 100% to our benefit, as opposed to what I found out in the civilian world.
Sure. There's that different level of understanding when you meet with the provider at the VA.
That's right. Okay, so Angela, if you could tell us a little bit how to get a hold of this service, where to go online.
You can check the Facebook page for the VA, the Canandaigua VA Facebook page. We'll have information there. You can also give me a call at 585-393-7989. We're about, we still aren't on the road yet, so to speak, with providing services, but veterans can give me a call. They can also call their provider and ask, when is the RV going to be in my town, what services are going to be provided, and that's going to, help us with getting the word out and drawing the veterans in as well.
That's awesome. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
The Military Exchange and D'Angelo Cigars bring you superb construction and tobacco consistency, keys to a great cigar. The Military Exchange has teamed up with D'Angelo Cigars, Dominican Republic plantation that organically grows and creates the finest tobaccos. Private label armed services, military line creations, inclusive of all branches, are carefully hand-rolled so every draw ensures the best flavor and perfect even burn. We invite you to explore your senses and experience one white ash and enjoy a dopamine release in the serotonin world. Cuban-seeded, Dominican-raised wine grain cured sensations, 3 to 6 long leaves await you at the Military Exchange in the town of Canandaigua. Come visit your purveyor, Corporal Tim Thornton, Gavillero and Laurel, with Rocco and Corporal Tim. At ease. See you when you get there. At the Military Exchange in Canandaigua, New York.
Hi, my name is Stephanie McLaughlin, and I am a senior at Rush Henrietta High School, and I joined the Army Reserves to become an automated logistics specialist. As an automated logistical specialist, I'll primarily be responsible for supervising and performing management tasks or warehouse functions in order to maintain equipment, records, and parts. For more information on my career or over 150 other skills, call the Henrietta Recruiting Center at 585-427-8600. Paid for by the U.S. Army. Army Strong.
I said, hey, are we loving hand grenades, kiddo? No, I don't think we are. Your clothes.
Gavierro and Laurel, Warrior Nation. Once again, we are here together as a family, brothers, sisters, celebrating the Rocco Gaetano D'Angelo Cigar Corner. And as we do, we purvey one white ash and a dopamine release in a serotonin world.
Ciao. I am presenting today the Marsoc Special Ops cigar, dedicated to my Marine Corps brothers that are now called Raiders. And this is the Raider cigar for you. Marine Amphibious Reconnaissance Special Operations Command, Marsoc Raiders, yut yut! The Raider cigar.
And this gem is a gem that Warrior Nation comes from the heart of Corporal Thornton and the D'Angelo Santana plantation. And how we go about creating this is a beautiful 55 by 5.5 inch Gran Robusto that it just charms as a gem in your hand. It is filler, Piloto Cubano Secco, San Vicente Ligerro, Criollo 98 Secco Ligerro. It is a binder that is split 50-50 with indigenous Olor Dominicano Secco, Olor Dominicano Ligerro. And then, if you can catch this with our cameras, a beautiful veined, just charming Corerico outer importer wrapper that ties in the Dominican American marine concept that pervade the island of Hispaniola many generations ago in the 60s, and for which the Dominicans appreciate the U.S. presence on that island today.
That's right, Rocco. That's part of our Marine Corps heritage that a lot of people don't know. We as Marines hit the Haitians in defense of the Dominicans during the Vietnam War. Check it out.
And that's correct.
Now, this is for our audience. I happen to be privileged to be sitting amongst a few good men. So, for the audience, a little bit more insight. I previously asked what your first experience, your exposure to the cigar world was, and I am now compelled to go further and ask you quite specifically, do you have an outstanding, let's say, favorite moment that you recall in which the cigar was figured prominently, adding to the ambience and the beauty of that memory? Rocco.
Well, it's amazing that you asked that. Last week, when we talked about the beginning of our purveyance of tobacco, it was back in 91 that I first got my exposure, and I graduated from a Macanudo 3 long leaf to a very spicy, bold Cohiba Cuban whenever I could get my hands on it. But later on that fateful year, it was Thanksgiving, and I remember vividly as I taped a sequence sitting with my grandfather talking about venting and making fortified wines, and then a concept of curing tobacco that was brought back from his grandfather that led to the whole patent that I created, and later developing the plantation with my father later on in the late 90s. But it was an experience that took me and has led me to the passion of my hobby, now business, and fortunately encountering a gem of a man, Corporal Thornton,
that has shared that passion with me and has allowed me literally to come to you through his generosity and through his thoughts and our thoughts together. We are creating something unique and new. And that is what brings to my heart everything that we've done over the past year. I thank you, Corporal.
And I thank you, Dr. D'Angelo, for allowing me to be part of a better cigar, a better way of life. As you can see behind us, 18 feet, 3 shelves deep of every size and shape and taste, far above any of our competitors. When they were still making 3 long leaves, Dr. D'Angelo was up to 7. And now we're up to 10 long leaf cigars. Our cigars are Cuban seed, raised in the Dominica by your very own plantation. Only 3 people in the world have accomplished what Dr. D'Angelo has done. Purveyor, importer, exporter, plantation owner, and creator.
And an angel of a good man. And we're going to hear more about what Rocco does for others. And for now, we will turn our attention to your story, Corporal Thornton. I'm sure you've got booties of stories. What is a favorite involving a cigar?
A favorite moment, one of mine, that I thought of today was while on tour in the first Gulf War with the 2nd Marines. I was allowed a little bit of liberty for just a little bit of time in Dubai. And I took my monthly allotment for fun of a whole $50. And I went out in town. And shortly I found an outdoor cafe where there were sheiks dressed in their white garb with their red and white checkered headdress with a black band across, mustaches, complete gentlemen looking very wealthy. And I sat down. And I was in my best Sears catalog Liberty attire. And I ordered the New York Times, a shot of espresso, and 1 Cuban cigar. And I want you to know, that was $50. I didn't know the price when I was ordering. That left me with no money. So after that, other than the event itself, I basically had to go back to ship. But while I sat there, drinking my espresso, smoking my Cuban cigar, reading the New York Times, I noticed the sheik at the table across from me. And I said to him, actually, he started the conversation. He said, how do you like my country? I said, I like this country just fine. I'm having a decent time on Liberty looking around. So then I said, after a sip of espresso and a smoke of a Cuban cigar, that's a nice watch you have, sir. Do you know who the manufacturer is? And he told me, this is of course a Rolex. Thank you for noticing. Sip, smoke. You know, that is quite a nice watch you have. I'm quite in admiration of it. He said, thank you. And he sat back and smoked his cigar. So I smoked my cigar. Thought for a minute. I said, say, that Rolex you have, that's really a nice watch. I'm sure it keeps quite the time. He said, my watch is a nice watch. And I'm very aware that you're aware of my customs. And you're not getting my watch. So I smoked my cigar and walked back to the ship.
Great story. Awesome, Laurel.
We're going to be hearing more from a few good men. Rocco, Corporal Thornton, ciao ciao.
Ciao ciao.
Ciao ciao. And all you Marsac guys, good good. Hello, I'm Corporal Tim Thornton, the owner of the Military Exchange in Canandaigua, New York. Over the past 20 years, I have personally searched out vintage clothing, uniforms, antiques. I like to collect all things military. I am just now willing to let go parts of my collection. We have a line of hand-picked vintage collectibles, World War I to present day. Vintage is a great way to give yourself a unique look. Ladies and gentlemen, add a little vintage to your wardrobe. What I like about vintage is the quality of material. Cotton, wool, leather, all at its very best. Different texture, design, and old school patterns that fit the way they should fit on a man or woman. The Military Exchange is your home for vintage clothing and collectibles. For your viewing pleasure, please go to my website, ironmikesmx.com, and see our video and pictures of vintage collectibles. So the world is filled with civil unrest. And everywhere you go, that's what you're seeing with Ferguson, and actually there's stuff going on in Los Angeles as of the 16th, and hardly anybody's talking about that. So you have Ezel Ford police shooting, Ferguson shooting, that's out of Missouri, Pakistan protesters vow no let up until PM resigns, protests erupt outside Philadelphia's firehouse after deadly Southwest Philadelphia fire, clashes on Temple Mount and in East Jerusalem, and this is back in July, so you know what that's going on with Israel and Hamas. Sao Paulo police tear gas protesters. Malawi police shoot dead protester in post-election violence. And in Thailand, Army chief urges rivals to talk after declaring martial law. And back in May, Vietnam mobs set fire to foreign factories in anti-China riots. We reported on that. Bloodshed as Chinese environmental protest sparks riots. All of this is going on in our world today since January, actually even sooner than that. So what does God say about this? In Luke 21, 25, and 26, and there shall be upon the earth distress of nations, with perplexity, men's hearts failing them for fear, and for looking after those things which are coming on the earth. This sounds strangely like an editorial from a current newspaper, a perfect picture of the world today. And there is a reason. We are the people of the very last days of Earth's history. All around us, the world is manifesting intense activity. There is a feeling of apprehension among all people. They are looking for some great event, but know not what it is to be. The nations are filled with anxiety, and there is a spirit of unrest and tumult on every hand. And if ever there was a time when men should look to the Bible, it is now. The tense atmosphere present in the world today should not surprise us. Christ foretold it, and it should convince us that his coming is near. So God bless, farewell, amen. This is Corporal Tim Thornton from the Military Exchange Radio Show. At some point you were driving to work in the last 4 months and said, I'm not living in the America that I grew up in. The Military Exchange would like to present our newest product, storage containers, perfect for camping, hunting, or prepping. The Military Exchange has standard Pelican and hard dig cases, ammo cans, and wooden ammo cases with the following features.
Watertight, crush-proof, and dust-proof. Easy open double-throw latches. Open cell core with solid wall design, strong, lightweight. Neoprene O-ring seal. Automatic pressure equalization valve with Gore-Tex membranes. Comfortable rubber over-molded top and side handles. Stainless steel hardware and padlock protectors. Strong polyurethane wheels with stainless steel bearings. Reinforced corners and edges for additional impact protection. Molded in ribs and corrugations for secure, non-slip stacking, columnar strength, and added protection. Positive anti-shear locks which prevent lid separation after impact. They also make great car top carriers. Recessed hardware for great protection. Pick and pluck foam. Many sizes available. The military paid thousands. Now you can have them at surplus prices. Come check them out at the Military Exchange, Route 332, Canandaigua, New York.
Honey, how many times do I have to move your old army bag? It's taking up too much room in the closet.
It's a duffel bag. It's full of my old uniforms.
And are you going to wear them again?
Yeah, maybe. Someday.
Uh-huh. And what size do you wear now?
Whatever.
Honey, why don't you take them to Military Mike's? You're certainly there enough.
It's Iron Mike's, and at least he doesn't make comments about my weight.
Bring your old military gear down to Iron Mike's Military Exchange. They'll turn your old uniforms, gear, and military collectibles into cash. So if you drug it back from overseas and it doesn't fit your motif, we want it. Iron Mike's wants your Class A's, Alphas, Hammies, Fatigues, Utilities, Digis. We want your Deuce gear, Molly gear, Alice gear, Web gear. Bring in your Poly Pros, new boots, used boots. Heck, if it's green, camouflaged, or digital, we want it. Give it a good home. Used, pre-enjoyed. Iron Mike's has a bin for it. Iron Mike's buys, sells, and trades. Iron Mike's Military Exchange, located in Canandaigua, New York. Check out all their newly acquired items at militaryexchange.co.
You've been listening to The Military Exchange, brought to you by the Marine Corps League Memorial Day Detachment in Canandaigua and Iron Mike's Military Exchange on Route 332 in Canandaigua. Contact Corporal Tim Thornton via email combatradio@yahoo.com.